Welcome back to the channel where we bring the most iconic action stories to life. Today we are diving into a true movie story, The Witch, Part 3. The Witch, Part 3, 2025, deepens the series' chilling universe, fusing Korean horror with science fiction for an intense, suspense-filled experience. Shin returns as the mysterious protagonist, steering the story into darker and more unpredictable realms. Picking up from the previous film, her character, a powerful yet tormented witch, grapples with the aftermath of past conflicts. As she uncovers the pieces of her shattered history, she stumbles upon an ancient prophecy predicting the rise of an otherworldly darkness, a threat she alone can either prevent or unleash. Beneath the surface, a sinister extraterrestrial presence emerges, a long-forgotten force from an ancient galactic war, covertly manipulating events for its own gain. With the power to distort reality and induce terrifying hallucinations, this entity becomes her most formidable enemy to date. In order to confront the looming danger, she allies herself with exiled scientists and rogue sorcerers, all of whom are aware of the cosmic horror encroaching upon their world. Together, they embark on a dangerous journey through barren wastelands and hidden, high-tech labs, in search of a way to stop the entity's growing influence. The film's climax explodes into a dramatic confrontation where magic clashes with advanced technology. In a final act of desperation, she sacrifices her own powers to imprison the entity, at the cost of losing her identity and memories. As the dust settles, her fate remains uncertain, leaving an unsettling question: has she truly emerged victorious, or has something far more menacing been set in motion? With its masterful combination of horror, sci-fi, and psychological tension, The Witch, Part 3 elevates the franchise, underscored by Shin Seo's captivating performance. In 1630s New England, English settler William and his family, his wife Catherine, teenage daughter Thomasin, preteen son Caleb, young fraternal twins Mercy and Jonas, are banished from a Puritan settlement over a religious dispute. They build a farm near a large, secluded forest, and Catherine bears her fifth child, Samuel. While under Thomasin's care, Samuel abruptly disappears. It is revealed that a witch has stolen and killed Samuel to use his body to make a flying ointment. 13:14. Devastated by the loss, Catherine spends her days crying and praying. William takes Caleb hunting in the woods, where Caleb wonders if the unbaptized Samuel went to heaven. In response, William discloses that he secretly traded Catherine's prized silver cup for hunting supplies. At the farm, the twins play with the family's billy goat, Black Phillip, who the children say talks to them. Catherine blames Thomasin for misplacing her silver cup and holds her responsible for the loss of Samuel. That night, the children overhear their parents arguing about their possible starvation and making plans to send Thomasin away to serve another family. The next morning, Thomasin and Caleb sneak into the forest to check a trap. Their dog, Fowler, chases a hare, with Caleb in pursuit. The hare frightens their horse, which throws Thomasin to the ground and knocks her unconscious. Caleb becomes lost and discovers Fowler's disemboweled body. Delving further into the thicket, he discovers a hovel from which the witch, disguised as a seductive young woman, emerges and kisses him. Thomasin awakens and finds her way home by following William's voice. As Catherine berates Thomasin for taking Caleb into the woods, William defends Thomasin by reluctantly admitting that he sold the cup. That night, Caleb returns to the farm naked, delirious, and mysteriously ill. Catherine suggests that Caleb has fallen victim to witchcraft and prays for him. The next day, Caleb goes into violent convulsions and vomits a whole apple, before passionately proclaiming his love for Christ and dying peacefully. The twins accuse Thomasin of practicing witchcraft, but she in turn accuses the two of them for their supposed conversations with Black Phillip and confronts their father Amy's intentions to send her away. Angered by his children's behavior, William locks them all in the goat house. In the middle of the night, the twins and Thomasin awake to find the witch, appearing as a naked old woman, drinking the blood of a nanny goat. She turns towards them and laughs, before attacking the twins off-screen as Thomasin watches in terror. In the house, Catherine has a hallucinatory vision in which Caleb and Samuel have returned. She takes Samuel and nurses him. In reality, she has exposed her breasts to a raven, which proceeds to peck away at her body. At dawn, William finds the goat's stable destroyed, the goats eviscerated, the twins missing, and an unconscious Thomasin with bloodied hands. As she stirs, Black Phillip gores and kills him. An unhinged Catherine blames Thomasin for everything that has happened and tries to strangle her, forcing Thomasin to tearfully kill her mother in self-defense with a billhook. Now alone, Thomasin enters the goat house and urges Black Phillip to speak to her. The goat responds in a human voice and offers her the life she desires. When she accepts, he materializes into a handsome, black-clad man, tells her to remove her clothes, and sign her name in a book. Thomasin, accompanied by Black Phillip in his goat form, then enters the forest nude, where she finds a coven holding a witch's sabbath around a bonfire. The witches begin to levitate. Thomasin joins them, laughing hysterically as she ascends above the trees. Cast: Anya Taylor-Joy as Thomasin, Ralph Fiennes as William, Kate Dickie as Catherine, Harvey Scrimshaw as Caleb, Ellie Granger as Mercy, Lucas Dawson as Jonas, Julian Reeshinks as the governor, Bathsheba Garnett as the witch, Sarah Stevens as the witch, Young, Wahab Chaudhry as Black Phillip, both voice and human form, Charlie as Black Phillip, goat. Eggers, who lived in New Hampshire, was inspired to write the film by his childhood fascination with witches and frequent visits to the Plymouth plantation as a schoolboy. After unsuccessfully pitching films that were too weird, too obscure, Eggers realized that he would have to make a more conventional film. 16, he said at a Q&A, "If I'm going to make a genre film, it has to be personal and it has to be good." 16, director Alfonso Cuarón read the screenplay in 2013, saying it made him, more than anything, curious. 17, the production team worked extensively with British and American museums, as well as consulting experts on 17th century British agriculture. 18, Eggers wanted the set constructed to be as historically accurate as possible, and therefore brought in a thatcher and a carpenter from Virginia and Massachusetts, respectively, who had the proper experience building in the style of the film's period. 19. Although Eggers wanted to film the picture on location in New England, he chose to film in Canada instead due to favorable tax incentives. 16. This proved to be something of a problem for him, because he could not find the forest environment he was looking for in the country. 16. He eventually began scouting off the map and found a suitable location, Kiosk, Ontario, that was extremely remote. He said that the nearest town made New Hampshire look like a metropolis. 16. The casting took place in England, as Eggers wanted authentic accents to represent a family newly arrived in colonial Plymouth. 20. Filming. To give the film an authentic look, Eggers shot only with natural light and indoors. The only lighting was candles. He also chose to stylize the film's title as The Vivitch, with two V's instead of a W in the title sequence and on posters, stating that he found this spelling in a Jacobean-era pamphlet on witchcraft, among other period texts. 21. In December 2013, costume designer Linda Muir joined the crew and consulted 35 books in the clothes of the common people in Elizabethan and early Stuart England series to plan the costumes, which were made with wool, linen, and hemp. She also lobbied for a larger costume budget, 22. A troupe of Budo dancers played the Coven of Witches at the end of the film, creating their own choreography. Music. Mark Corvin wrote the film's score, which aimed to be tense and dissonant while focusing on minimalism. Eggers vetoed the use of any electronic instruments and didn't want any traditional harmony or melody in the score, so Corvin chose to create music with atypical instruments, including the nickel-harpa and waterphone. He knew the director liked to retain a degree of creative control, so he relied on loose plays centered on improvisation so that Eggers could move notes around whenever he wanted. 23. According to analysts, the film's impact is delivered not through scares, but by the effect of ambience and scenography. 26, 27. This is stylistically represented by the film's use of expressionist lighting, the use of different kinds of camera to draw thematic limits, the editing employed to hide horror from the main sight, and the soundtrack's sonic dissonance accompanying instrumental scenes. 28. Samuel's physically impossible disappearance at the beginning of the film introduces the viewer to the film's atmosphere. 26. Linda Maestro by Francisco de Goya, 1799. The film's plot orbits around the psychological conflict, using a repressive, patriarchal portrayal of Puritan society and the dark, murderous liberation of the witches. 29. The main female character, Thomasin, harbors worldly desires that differ from those of her conventionally Christian family. 30. Yearning for independence. 29. 31. Sexuality. 32. Acceptance. 33. 32. And power. 33. 32. While her father and the Christian God fail to fulfill her needs, Satan speaks personally to her, offering earthly satisfaction. 34. Therefore, with the demise of her family and the rejection of the Puritan society, Thomasin joins Satan and the witches, her only alternative, in order to find her long-desired control over her own life. 35. Her nudity in the last scene reflects her act of casting off the bonds of her previous society. 31. The difference between both options, nevertheless, is rendered blurred by an evocation of equal religious extremism. 36. 32. This is first felt in the architecture of the family's own home, which ironically resembles an archetypal witch's cottage itself, hinting at the gradual reveal that evil is already instilled in them. 31. On the opposite side, Satan's temptation of Thomasin also acquires traits of ideological grooming, slowly alienating her from her family. 33. 37. At the end, despite her newfound cause and ecstatic laugh at the coven, Thomasin has not escaped her previous religiosity, but merely changed its direction, turning to murmur in exchange for freedom. The symbolic conflict between civilization and nature is also present in all aspects of the film. 39. The family lives next to a dark forest, a place tied to witchcraft in their culture, which underlines the conflict between their civilized, patriarchal religion and the Gothic, wild natural world that surrounds them. 40. The forest, as well as the state of nudity. 31. Are associated with monstrosity, with the untamed wilderness where forbidden liberation and sexuality emerge. 29, 39, 41. Accordingly, Caleb returns nude after being seduced by the witch, the witches themselves perform their acts while naked, and Thomasin eventually adopts this code upon joining them. 31. At the end of the film, nature triumphs over its adversary, with the pan-like Black Phillip goring the axe-wielding William in a metaphor for man being consumed by the wild. 42. Release. The film had its world premiere on January 27, 2015, at the 2015 Sundance Film Festival, 44. It was screened on September 18, 2015, in the Special Presentations section of the 2015 Toronto International Film Festival, 46. A24 and DirecTV Cinema acquired the film's distribution rights, 47, as it received very positive reactions in advance screenings. The studios decided to give the film a wide theatrical release in the United States, which occurred on February 19, 2016, 49. The film was released on Blu-ray and digital HD in the United States on May 17, 2016, by Lionsgate Home Entertainment, 50. Special features on the discs include outtakes, an audio commentary by Eggers, the making-of documentary short The Witch, A Primal Folktale, and a 30-minute question-and-answer session featuring Eggers, Taylor-Joy, and historians Richard Trask and Bruno Nia-Barry, which was filmed in Salem, Massachusetts. After a screening of the film, 51, a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray of the film was released on April 23, 2019, 52. In the United States and Canada, the film was released alongside Risen and Race, and was projected to gross $5 to $7 million from 2,046 theaters in its opening weekend. 53, it made $3.3 million on its first day, and $8.8 million in its opening weekend, finishing fourth at the box office behind Deadpool, $56.5 million, Kung Fu Panda 3, $12.5 million, and Risen, $11.8 million. 54. Critical response. On review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 91% based on 337 reviews, with an average score of 7.8 out of 10. The website's critics' consensus reads, "Has thought-provoking as it is visually compelling, The Witch delivers a deeply unsettling exercise in slow-building horror that suggests great things for debuting writer-director Robert Eggers." 55. On Metacritic, it has a weighted average score of 84 out of 100 based on 46 critics, indicating universal acclaim. 56. However, audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of C- on an A+ to F scale, while Post-Track reported filmgoers gave it a 55% overall positive score and a 41% definite recommend. 54. Writing in Variety, Justin Chun commented that a fiercely committed ensemble and an exquisite sense of historical detail conspire to cast a highly atmospheric spell in The Witch, a strikingly achieved tale of a mid-17th century New England family's steady descent into religious hysteria and madness. 57. Johanna Desta of Mashable stated that The Witch is a stunningly crafted experience that'll have you seeking out a church as soon as you leave the theater. 58. Peter Travers, in his Rolling Stone review, gave the film 3.5 stars, and wrote of the film, building his film on the diabolical aftershocks of Puritan repression, Eggers raises The Witch far above the horror herd. He doesn't need cheap tricks. Eggers merely directs us to look inside. 59. Stephanie Zacharek summarized the movie in Time as a triumph of tone, writing that, although Eggers is extremely discreet, the things you don't see are more horrifying than those you do. The picture's relentlessness sometimes feels like torment. 60. Gregory Wakeman, writing for Cinema Blend, gave it 5 out of 5 stars, writing that its acting, lighting, music, writing, production design, cinematography, editing, and direction all immediately impress, while, at the same time, they combine to create an innately bewitching tale that keeps you on tenterhooks all the way up until its grandiose but enthralling finale. 61, and Hornaday wrote in the Washington Post that the film joins the ranks of horror films such as The Exorcist, The Omen, and Rosemary's Baby, saying that The Witch comports itself less like an imitator of those classics than their progenitor, which is a tribute to a filmmaker who, despite his newcomer status, seems to have arrived in the full throes of maturity, in full control of his prodigious powers. 62, writing for Best of Netflix, Debapana Chakraborty praised the narrative, saying, "The Witch is a mesmerizing exploration of the mundane horrors often spawned by barren isolation and religious fervor." 63, independent filmmaker Jay Bauman of Red Letter Media named it his favorite film of 2016, enthusiastically stating, "I love it, I think it's a masterpiece. It's a first-time filmmaker, which is shocking to me, because it feels like it's made by someone who's been making movies for decades, who's a master of their craft." 64. However, some critics, as well as audiences, were less pleased with the film. Ethan Sachs of the New York Daily News wrote that the film does not suffer from the cinematography, acting, or setting, and early on it seems that The Witch is tapping a higher metaphor for coming of age, or religious intolerance, or man's uneasy balance with nature, or something. It doesn't take long into the film's hour-and-a-half running time, however, to break that spell. 65. Critics noted that the film received backlash from audiences regarding its themes and slow approach to horror. 66. Leslie Coffin criticized A24, saying it was a huge mistake to market The Witch as a terrifying horror film. Not because it doesn't fit into the genre of horror, but because of the power of expectations. The less you know about this movie, the better your experience will be, but everyone who saw it opening weekend probably walked in with too much knowledge and hype to really get as much out of it as they could have if the film had the veil of mystery. 67. Hitfix writer Chris Eggertson blamed mainstream Hollywood more generally for the unenthusiastic response of some audiences, saying that The Witch got under his skin profoundly, but it did not have the moment-to-moment, audience-pleasing shocks that moviegoers have become accustomed to thanks to movies like Sinister and The Purge and Paranormal Activity and every other Blumhouse and Platinum Dunes title in the canon. 68. Horror authors Stephen King and Brian Keene both reacted positively to the film. King tweeted significant praise for the film, writing, "The Witch scared the hell out of me. And it's a real movie, tense and thought-provoking as well as visceral." 69. On social media, Keene stated, "The Witch is a gorgeous, thoughtful, scary horror film that 90% of the people in the theater with you will be too stupid to understand." 70. In July 2025, there was one of the films voted for the Reader's Choice edition of the New York Times list of the 100 best movies of the 21st century, finishing at number 136. 71. It also ranked number 11 on the Hollywood Reporter's list of the 25 best horror movies of the 21st century. 12. Religious interpretation. Julia Alexander of Polygon wrote that The Witch asks people to try and understand what life would have been like for a family of devout Christians living in solitude, terrified of what may happen if they go against the Word of God. 72. In The Atlantic, Alyssa Wilkinson stated that many films featured at the 2015 Sundance Film Festival, including The Witch, reveal a resurgence of interest in the religious. 73. Yves Tushnet commented in an article in TAC, which was also published in First Things, that The Witch's view of witchcraft is not revisionist, and further said the film is pervaded by the fear of God. There are occasional references to his mercy, but only as something to beg for, not something to trust in. 74. 75. A review by Adam Holes in Plugged In, a publication of the conservative Christian organization Focus on the Family, heavily criticized the film, stating that William is absolutely devoted to leading his family in holiness and the ways of the Lord, which should be a good thing. But the fruit of William's rigorous focus on dogmatic piety is deep fear and morbid meditations on hell, damnation, and the forces of spiritual darkness. 76. Josh Lawson of Think Christian, however, offered a different Christian explanation of the conclusion of the film, writing, "When it comes to encountering evil, the family in the film veers wildly back and forth between triumphalism and defeatism, two theological extremes, and, in refusing to allow for grace, they become easy pickings for the witch." 77. Emily Vanderwerf of Fox wrote, "A 24 could have just as easily courted the approval of, say, theologians who have a fondness for Calvinism. The Witch takes place in colonial America, and it unfolds from the perspective of period Christians who genuinely believe the woods around their tiny farm contain some sort of evil, supernatural being, and are ultimately proved correct." Anya Josephine Marie Taylor-Joy, /NJ/Wink with a Frown 1, born 16 April 1996, 2, is an actress. Born in Miami and raised in Buenos Aires and London, she left school at the age of 16, following which she pursued an acting career. After a series of small television roles, her breakthrough came with a leading role in the horror film The Witch, 2015. Her career progressed with roles in the horror film Split, 2016, and its sequel Glass, 2019, the black comedy film Thoroughbreds, 2017, and for playing Emma Woodhouse in the period drama Emma, 2020. Taylor-Joy featured in the television crime drama series Peaky Blinders, 2019-2022, and earned international recognition for playing Beth Harmon in the period drama miniseries The Queen's Gambit, 2020, winning a Golden Globe Award and a SAG Award, in addition to a nomination for a Primetime Emmy Award. She then starred in the horror film Last Night in Soho, 2021, the action films The Northman, 2022, and The Gorge, 2025, and the black comedy The Menu, 2022. She also voiced Princess Peach in the animated film The Super Mario Bros. Movie, 2023, and starred as Imperator Furiosa in the apocalyptic film Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, 2024. Early life and education. Anya Josephine Marie Taylor-Joy, citation needed, was born in Miami, Florida, to Dennis Allen Taylor, 3-5, a former banker, and Jennifer Marina Joy, a psychologist. Her father is an Argentine of English and Scottish descent, the son of a British father and an Anglo-Argentine mother. 6, 7, 8. Her mother was born in Zambia to an English diplomat father, David Joy, and a Spanish mother from Barcelona, Montserrat Morencho. 9. She has stated that her birth in Miami was a fluke, since her parents had been vacationing in the city at the time. Because of her birthplace, she holds American citizenship due to the country's just solely nationality law. 10. She is the youngest of 6 siblings, 4 of whom are from her father's previous marriage. 11. Taylor-Joy lived with her family in Buenos Aires and attended Northland School until the age of 6, when the family moved to the Victoria area of London. 8, 12. She is fluent in Spanish and English. 8, 11, 13. Taylor-Joy experienced the move as traumatic and initially refused to learn English in hopes of moving back to Argentina. 14. She attended Hill House International Junior School. 15. And Queen's Gate School, acting in school productions. She struggled socially at school, recalling, "I didn't really feel like I fit in anywhere. I was too English to be Argentine, too Argentine to be English, too American to be anything." The kids just didn't understand me in any shape or form. I used to get locked in lockers. 8. Taylor-Joy initially trained in dance, studying ballet until the age of 16. At age 17, she was scouted as a model by Storm Management founder Sarah Dalkas, while walking her dog outside Harrods department store in Knightsbridge, London. 17, she signed with the agency on the condition that acting remain her first passion and pursuit. During a modeling shoot promoting the television series Downton Abbey, which she had almost rejected because she was studying for her GCSE examinations, Taylor-Joy was noticed by the Downton Abbey actor Alan Leach while running errands for the crew and while reciting the Seamus Heaney poem, Digging, for a forthcoming screen test. He later introduced her to his agent, with whom she signed as an actress. 18. Career 2013 to 2019, early work and breakthrough. Taylor-Joy made her acting debut in the 2014 fantasy comedy horror Vampire Academy, but her scenes as a background feeder girl were dropped from the final cut. 1920, she made her television debut as Philippa Collins Davidson in an episode of the detective drama series Endeavor, followed by a multi-episode arc in the 2015 fantasy adventure drama series Atlantis. 21. That same year, she starred in The Witch, a period horror film directed by Robert Eggers, which tells the story of a Puritan family that encounters forces of evil in the woods beyond their New England farm. It premiered at the 2015 Sundance Film Festival to critical acclaim. 22-23, the role was her breakthrough. 24-25, Anthony Lane of The New Yorker called Taylor-Joy remarkable in the role, her wide-eyed innocence entwined with a thread of cunning, proof either of her quick wits, scarcely unusual in a clever and curious girl, or of some fell purpose. 26. She won the Gotham Independent Film Award for Breakthrough Actor and the Empire Award for Best Female Newcomer. 27-28. Taylor-Joy at the 2018 San Diego Comic-Con. The following year, Taylor-Joy starred in Luke Scott's science fiction horror film Morgan, playing the title character. It received negative reviews and was a commercial failure, but Booth, Michigan's John Serba wrote that Taylor-Joy disarms us with a performance that keenly teeter-totters between little girl innocent and dead-eyed viciousness. 29. She next starred in the drama film Barry, which focused on a young Barack Obama during his first year at Columbia University in 1981. It premiered at the 2016 Toronto International Film Festival. 30. The same year, Taylor-Joy's likeness was licensed from Storm Management to represent the character of Valkyrie Kane on the 10th anniversary book cover of Skullduggery Pleasant, and subsequently the covers of the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 14th books in the series. 31. Before she appeared in the music video for Skrillex's remix of GTA's song, Red Lips. 32. In 2016, she was cast opposite James McAvoy in M. Night Shyamalan's Split, where she played Casey Cook, a teenage girl abducted by a man with multiple personalities, McAvoy. It was a commercial success, grossing $278.5 million on a budget of $9 million. 33-34. Her next film that year was Corey Finley's directorial debut Thoroughbreds. It co-starred Olivia Cook and Anton Yelchin in his final film role. Taylor-Joy played Lily, a high school student who schemes to kill her stepfather via a contract with a drug dealer. It premiered at the 2017 Sundance Film Festival. David Ehrlich of IndieWire called her performance captivating. 35. Her third release in 2017 was Sergio G. Sanchez's horror mystery Marrowbone. Tasha Robinson of The Verge wrote that Taylor-Joy brought a shy, appealing warmth to an inconsistent character. 36. Taylor-Joy was nominated for the BAFTA Rising Star Award. 37, and was awarded the trophy Showbird at the Cannes Film Festival that year. 38. In December 2017, she portrayed Petronella Ortman in the BBC One period drama miniseries The Miniaturist, based on Jessie Burton's novel of the same name. 39. Taylor-Joy reprised her role as Casey Cook in the 2019 psychological superhero film Glass, the final film in the Unbreakable film trilogy, appearing with McAvoy, Samuel L. Jackson and Sarah Paulson. 40. It was a commercial success, grossing $247 million worldwide. 41. Later that year, she appeared in the documentary film Love and Osha, on the life and career of her late co-star Anton Yelchin, and in Hozier's music video for his song Dinner and Diatribes. 42. 43. Her next two 2019 films, the animated musical adventure film Playmobil, the movie and biographical drama film Radioactive, were commercial failures. 44. She also voiced the character of Brea in the fantasy series The Dark Crystal, The Age of Resistance. 45. In her final role of 2019, she played the starring role of Gina Gray in the BBC One period crime drama series Peaky Blinders. 46. 2020, present, rise to prominence. In 2020, Taylor-Joy starred as Emma Woodhouse in Autumn de Wilde's directorial debut Emma, an adaptation of Jane Austen. Taylor-Joy starred in the Netflix miniseries The Queen's Gambit as Beth Harmon, an orphan chess prodigy on her rise to the top of the chess world while struggling with drug and alcohol dependency. 51. The series and her performance received widespread critical acclaim. 52. 53. Netflix announced that it had been seen by 62 million households in its first 28 days of release. 54. Becoming its biggest scripted limited series to date. 55. Darren Franick of Entertainment Weekly called Taylor-Joy's performance darkly fascinating, and noted how she excels in the quiet moments, with her eyelids narrowing as she decimates an opponent, and her whole body physicalizing angry desperation when the game turns against her. 56. Similarly, Caroline Frank of Variety found her so magnetic that when she stares down the camera lens, her flinty glare threatens to cut right through it. 57. Taylor-Joy's portrayal won her the Golden Globe Award for Best Actress, Miniseries or Television Film and the Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by a Female Actor in a Miniseries or Television Movie, and garnered her a nomination for the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Limited or Anthology Series or Movie. 49. 58. 59. Taylor-Joy at the 2024 Cannes Film Festival. In 2020, she next appeared in the drama film Here Are the Young Men, directed by Owen Nacken and based on the novel of the same name by Rob Doyle. 60. In 2021, she starred in Edgar Wright's psychological horror film Last Night in Soho. In the film, she performs the song Downtown by Petula Clark Wink with a Frown. 61. A music video of Taylor-Joy's rendition was also released. 62. Joe Morgenstern of The Wall Street Journal highlighted the dazzling sense of purpose in her portrayal. 63. She was included on Time magazine's 100 Next list that same year.